Every so often, a new technology comes along that just changes everything. And back in the 19th century, one of these inventions sparked a crisis so deep it would completely reshape the world of art, forcing artists to ask a really terrifying question. Is painting dead?
I mean, think about it. For thousands of years, painting had one main job: to capture the world as we see it, to create this perfect illusion of reality. But then, a machine showed up that could do it better, do it faster, and with this almost frightening accuracy.
And that invention? It was photography. What you're looking at here is a photo from 1857. Just look at the insane detail on the trees, that perfect reflection in the water. This wasn't some artist's idea of the landscape. No, this was the landscape, captured with light and chemistry. And for painters, that was a direct existential threat.
So what exactly was this new seeing machine? And why did it send the art world into such a total panic? Well, to really get the threat it posed, you first have to appreciate its technical, almost magical process. Yeah, this was definitely not your point-and-shoot camera. It was seriously high-tech for the time. Early photographers had to be part chemist, part alchemist. The whole thing was this frantic race against time. You had to polish a glass plate, coat it with this sticky goo called collodion, dip it in silver nitrate to make it light-sensitive, and then run out, take the picture, and develop it, all before the plate dried. It was pure alchemy, as much science as it was art.
And this just shows you how wild it all was in practice. On the left, you can see the photographers who took that landscape shot, and they're basically hauling a portable laboratory with them. And if you wanted your portrait taken, well, on the right is a caricature of the headrest they literally clamp you into to keep you from moving an inch during those super long exposures. It was clumsy, it was difficult, but wow, the results were undeniable.
So you can imagine this basically brought the art world to a screeching halt. The main job of painting for centuries to perfectly copy nature had just been taken over by a machine. So what's a painter supposed to do now? This one question sparked two totally revolutionary answers. Okay, so the first big answer came from the photographers themselves. They didn't see a threat. They saw an incredible opportunity. They started arguing that the camera wasn't just a machine for copying things. No, in the right hands, it could be an artist's tool, just like a paintbrush. And right away, you see portrait photography split down two different paths. One way was purely commercial, just churning out pictures for the masses. But the other was aiming for something way deeper, using the camera to actually capture the human spirit.
Just look at this comparison. It says it all. On the left, you've got these cartes de visite, or visiting cards. They were a huge craze, basically the social media profiles of their day. Mass-produced, cheap, and totally commercial. But on the right, that's a portrait by Julia Margaret Cameron. It's soft, it's moody, it's incredibly emotional. She wasn't just taking a picture of a face. She was trying to photograph a soul.
And if you want one person who perfectly captures this split, look no further than the photographer Nadar. On the left, that's his famous Pantheon, a gigantic commercial poster of caricatures. Big business. But on the right is his photograph of the painter Delacroix. It's powerful, it's simple, and it's all about his inner life. Nadar proved that the machine was just a tool. It was the artist's vision that decided if the result was just a product or a true piece of art.
All right, but the second response. Now this one was even more radical. It came from a painter who decided, you know what, I'm not even going to fight photography. Instead, he just completely gave up the territory of reality and decided to go somewhere that machine could never, ever follow. And that painter was J.M.W. Turner.
But to really get how revolutionary Turner was, you've got to see where he started. This is one of his paintings from 1810. It's a beautiful, traditional landscape. The details are sharp, the scene is calm. He was at the top of his game, playing by the old rules.
But right around the time photography was coming into its own, you see Turner's work start to shift. Here, in 1834, he's not just painting a building that's on fire. He's painting the fire itself. The building just dissolves into this explosion of light and smoke and pure energy. He's painting the event, not just the things in it.
And then by 1840, he just pushes it even further with the slave ship. I mean, this is basically a vision of hell at sea. It's this beautiful but terrifying swirl of color and violence. This painting isn't about what the ocean looked like. It's about that overwhelming feeling of nature's terrifying power and human cruelty. And then there's this from 1842. The story goes that Turner actually had sailors tie him to the mast of a ship during a blizzard
just so he could experience it. He wasn't trying to paint a picture of a storm, he was trying to paint what it felt like to be in the storm. It's basically pure abstraction. He's painting a feeling, not a thing.
And it all kind of culminates in this masterpiece: rain, steam, and speed. See, a camera back then, it would have had to make that train stand perfectly still to get a clear picture. Turner did the exact opposite. He leaned into the blur, painting the feeling of speed, the misty air, the raw energy of this new machine. He was painting things the camera could never dream of seeing.
So Turner's totally radical approach, it didn't just save his own career, he actually laid out a blueprint for the entire future of painting. And his influence would pop up decades later in the most direct way you can imagine, and it would directly launch the next great art movement.
And I mean, the connection is just, it's undeniable. You have to see this. On the left, that's a Turner sunrise from the 1840s. On the right, that's Claude Monet's sunrise from 1872. That's Impression Soleil Levant, the painting that literally gave Impressionism its name. The way it focuses on light, the way everything dissolves, the goal of capturing a fleeting moment, Turner was doing this stuff 30 years before them.
And if you need a smoking gun, well, here it is. Turner's Parliament Fire on the left, Monet's version on the right. Monet actually saw Turner's work when he visited London, and for him it was a total revelation. He and the other Impressionists finally understood that painting's future wasn't about showing objective reality, but subjective experience. Turner showed them the way.
So what's the big takeaway here? The threat of photography really forced painting into a corner. But by giving up the fight for reality, Turner gave painting a brand new purpose. He stopped asking painting to be a mirror that just reflects the world, and he turned it into a lamp, something that could light up our own inner worlds.
And this whole story brings us right back to a question we're asking ourselves today. We now have AI that can generate any image we can possibly imagine, a new kind of seeing machine. And this new machine feels like it's threatening the human artist all over again. So faced with this new crisis, what unexplored territories are left for art to discover? What's its new purpose now?